Welcome to the story of episode 2. Blake, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Ah, another day, another dollar.
Ooh,
Ba-
well, you making big money, baby.
Period. That's it.
I'm over here. I'm over here with these 15 cents.
Is that a white
Trying to
beater
make
or
it
is that
out.
like a 50-cent bulletproof vest you got on? What is that?
It's 50 cent bulletproof vest. And he's hanging upside down at the halftime show.
It is something along the lines. It's a white beater.
Okay. It looks like a 50-cent
White beater with a
bulletproof
sticker.
vest.
Oh, well, then I should probably. You know what? I should have opted for a different shirt, for a different blouse.
No, I like that 50-cent bulletproof vest he wore. Not the one at the Super Bowl when he's upside down or anything. Anyway,
Another way.
Petra, how are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing.
That is good. That is good. Well, we are back, like I said, episode 2. We are continuing your story, Blake. We're going to start off around high school years. Tell me about high school, like what high school you went to, how things were, how it was adapting to that kind of
Socially.
lifestyle. Because high school rough. High school a different kind of beast.
Romantically, drama.
You trying to get all the tea, huh?
Well, we still working on that age, too. Where's my pen?
Oh my God! Good luck.
Mhm.
Thank you for reminding me. I probably would have slipped up.
Yeah, you would have, but I'm still going to work on it. Keep going.
Well, high school was pretty much more of the same. However, I will say in high school, I really think I blossomed more into the person that I was becoming and soon to be, if that
Makes
makes sense.
That definitely makes sense. So there was no drama. There was no drama around Blake. There was
Not in high school per se. I mean, not at that particular time. Like all the drama was kind of sort of behind me, so to speak. The bullying had gotten old. It was just like it was to be expected. So it wasn't. It was like, eh.
Well, let me put in this
That's
consensus
okay.
because high school is always geared towards popularity. So 1 to 10, 10 being super popular, where did you fall on that Richter scale?
Well, I will tell you, I was prom king.
Oh,
She
okay.
was popular.
So,
Shit, I didn't even qualify.
so like a 10.
9.75.
I mean, give me my 10. But again, I'm from a small town. I had an older sister who was extremely popular. So,
Okay.
and she's 1 grade ahead of me. So
Just
it kind of
that's
sort
right.
of just flowed, that I would also, be a part of her inner circle of popularity. So I was basically, nepotism at its best. And then, but also in my own class, and ooh, baby, I almost told you what year. In my class of 2020, I began to find my own little circle of friends and create my own little circle of, lifelong friends. All of them were female.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them were female
Okay.
for the most part.
So what about romantic? Everybody has a crush, has a little my high school sweet. Like everybody has that. What
So
was that like for Blake?
in high school, I dated girls. So I
Oh,
dated this really sweetheart of a woman. Her name is Jacqueline. She worked at the Popeye.
okay.
But baby, you get a free 3-piece, some strip of biscuit with some red bean and rice.
Key to your heart.
Sounds like
Nothing
you
more
were
after
after.
my own heart.
It
Spice.
It sounds though like you were after the breast. Too soon?
And
Too soon?
no, not yet.
Okay, so being that how long did you date Jacqueline? Or did you date Jack? First of all, was
Yeah,
it just
so
a crush?
it was probably like it was a short fling, but I lost my virginity to a girl at 15 on a high school bus. Okay, I didn't get out of later.
And my mama words, so you nasty.
So like back then, were you paging her?
Back then,
Yeah. I mean, the past
What
is.
else you supposed to
Yeah,
say?
it's
We
the
don't know.
last-
We don't know the age. So what
you
else?
don't know how far back. You ain't gotta put too much emphasis on it back then.
Yeah.
It could just be then.
Did I have too many A's in the word back?
It
Back
could have been so
then.
then, not back then, just then.
I mean, but we don't know the age, so we gotta.
Okay, well, were you because communication was difficult. Did you have pagers? Did you page her? Did you call her?
Communication was difficult. A pager. I had a cell phone.
Oh, is this around the time
so
they just came out?
Okay.
What kind of cell phone? Do you remember?
I do, but I won't tell you.
That's gonna give it away. That's gonna be right now.
Well, although I'm from a small town, so it doesn't necessarily give it away because technology moves slower. We get it late.
Okay. Well, so.
But anyway, so I lost my. I did not lose. I want to clear that up. I didn't lose my virginity to Jacqueline.
I was just about to answer.
I lost it to a fast ass girl named Dolores.
Oh, Dolores.
Why you couldn't be the fast one?
If you watching Dolores,
together.
If you watching Dolores, we see you.
I don't even know what happened to Dolores since then, but nonetheless, so we were at let's say a Christmas program or something.
No. Back up. Dolores, where?
On the bus.
On the bus.
Oh, I thought you said that Jacqueline was on the bus.
No, I just clarified.
No, he just said that Jacqueline was not the person he lost.
Aha. Okay. I was focused on pagers and cell phones. Go ahead, continue.
See what I mean? You're trying to speculate on
singular wireless at this point.
So we were at a Christmas program, like an after-school program, and her and I were walking. We had no dealings with each other prior to this moment, and she was fast, and she wanted to be fast. So
why couldn't you be fast too? Because you didn't stop it.
She had done this before.
Oh, she said she done it before.
Yeah, this wasn't her first rodeo. This was mine. So I couldn't be fast.
Okay.
I was playing follow the leader.
So just curious, if you were to have knocked her up and had kids, how old would they be right now? Is something wrong with your audio? Can you hear me?
They'd be like 5. I don't know. I can't count. I told you I don't know math.
Go ahead, Petra. I'm done.
So you and Dolores, right? Dolores.
Right.
With the D?
Dolores, yeah.
Oh, somebody got the D.
Y'all hot-tailed it. Y'all, there was no theme. There was no, no relationship. But y'all hot-tailed it back to the bus.
Yep, we went on the bus, pulled the little door open, and laid down there in the aisle and did what grown folks do. But I wasn't grown.
But you wasn't grown. Now, after that, okay, so as you're trotting to the bus, did you already know what your sexuality was?
I was aware of my attraction, but I was rebuking the spirit.
That's right.
I was over there trying to rebuke, trying to get their spirit off of me.
Did you feel like when you were about to be, and then had done the thing with the Lord, did you think that was supposed to change you and your attraction?
Yeah. So one of the reasons my objective was to solidify my attraction to women and cut off my attraction to men.
And that did not happen. Did Dolores for sure you on exactly what you was attracted to?
No, not just yet. So we gonna get there. So now again, so I'm gonna take you on a timeline. So that's 15.
Okay.
Get your little calculator.
So is this your freshman? Because depending on your age, that could be your freshman year. Sophomore year. Okay.
I feel like I'm giving too much.
I'm gonna watch all this footage back. Believe that.
The way my birthday set up is I'm the same age the entire year. So, or a school year.
Same here.
So I was 15. Right, because our birthday's in June. So, I was 15 a sophomore. That's why I asked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we were the same. Yeah. So fast forward to I also dated another girl. Her name was Dorothy. These old folks' name, but she was younger than me.
Small town.
It also started with a G. And now this will be 21, so I'm gonna skip ahead. So at the tender age of 21, I was in a relationship with Dorothy. I was also going to LSU at the time. Still didn't give a year, right? Okay, so I was going to LSU, driving back and forth, picking her up, and she spent the weekend with me. And we had great sex. Sex with women is beautiful. It just wasn't for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
So from Dolores to Dorothy, you had not had a sexual relationship with a woman.
No.
Mm.
Yeah. So Dolores, Dorothy, Jacqueline, and I tried, but it didn't work out.
No.
Baby, I'm over here telling all my little business.
I was about to get into the nitty gritty because for me, you say sex and that's so generic.
Oh, like no penetration.
Oh no, I get what sex is. I was talking about, did you do more to experiment to see if you would like women?
Yes.
Good question, man.
Yes, I did.
Like what?
We did everything.
Who did you do everything with? Dolores or Dorothy?
Dorothy.
Dorothy.
Mm-hmm.
So Dorothy allowed you to examine her entire mountain. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And taught me some things, baby. Taught me some things now.
All right, cliffhanger.
Baby, she taught me some lessons that I still use to this day. I was like, oh, okay, that's that little trick Dorothy had did. that actually felt pretty good.
Nice. Until this day.
So but we were humping like rabbits, and now but I was also, I think I was even younger than 21. Oh yeah, I think I was like 18 or 19, not 21 yet.
And what year was that?
Yes, I was probably like 18, 19. So I had that 18, 19-year-old people.
Okay.
What was like? Well, during high school, what was your favorite show that you would watch? I was like, is this motherfucker about to give it to me?
Wait.
He was about to speak on it. I was like, oh shit, let me get my pen out.
It's about to be
But Petra, did you see the facial expression change while he was thinking about it? About to give me the juice.
I was actually making sure I fooled you. I wanted you to think that I was about to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You was about to tell us. It was on the tip of your tongue. I felt it in my shana. It was coming on out.
It was because of the way that you pivoted to the show that I was like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, if you would have been a little slicker, I probably would have just shouted it out. But the fact that we were just talking about sex, and then you're like, oh, what's your high school favorite show?
I've been trying to find a way to slip it in, though, the whole time, just to let you know that.
I think you're going to get it. You'll get it.
So, who did you go prom with?
A girl named Kelly.
Kelly, okay.
Yeah. I went to prom twice. I went with Talia Foster. She was a friend. I went with Kelly, also a friend. So I never went with a girlfriend. I didn't have a steady girlfriend in high school.
Okay.
I had these fly-by-night, but it was really maybe 2-week situationships.
Now, in the town that you grew up in, is it predominantly black or is it a diverse city?
It is predominantly black-ish, I think. But we just had the mayoral race recently, and for some strange reason, the second black, so we just elected the second black mayor. And prior to that, and the first one was 4 years ago in a predominantly black city. I think it's 60-40. It's almost
60-40, okay. So was your high school predominantly black or was it diverse?
It was black and white. And maybe a couple of Asians. We didn't have any Mexicans. And we probably did, but they probably didn't necessarily. Even I hate to say it, but a lot of the non-black cultures in Louisiana, they tend to cleave to the majority population.
Were you closeted the entire high school tenure?
Yes, I wasn't. So in high school, I was not gay yet.
So I asked that because I wanted to know.
I wasn't practicing gay.
So I asked that because I want to know where was Dolores during the prom king portion? She was just a sex fling, and then she just.
That was it. We never spoke. We never spoke after the bus. We never spoke before the bus. It was just done.
So I mean,
where was the protection?
Was there protection?
It was. There was no protection. I don't think there was ever ejaculation either. Not on my part.
It still wasn't no protection.
Still with none.
That's what's wrong with these. That's what's wrong with these kids nowadays.
I know.
Y'all
At least
nasty.
I'm being honest now.
Y'all
I'm honest
nasty.
on it.
You nasty. You nasty.
I mean, it was so impromptu that, yeah, it was.
Okay, so let's go back to Dolores. When after the incident happened, or your first, fling on the bus,
I'm on the bus. Get on the
after
bus.
it happened, how did you feel? Because
I felt dirty. I ran home and took a bath and I soaked in the tub. I was thinking I could wash all of her off of me and nobody would know.
Did you tell anybody?
Of course I did. I told everybody.
So not only did you smash her, you told everybody that you smashed her. Wow.
Because I was trying to prove that I wasn't gay.
Now,
so it was like, hey, I'm not gay. Look, I had sex with Dolores.
So was anybody speculating?
Yeah, that I was gay? Hell yeah.
In high school?
That's why they were bullying me. So they knew, I mean, not they knew, but, I'm not going to say they knew before because I always knew, but I never practiced and I never thought that I would ever, be a practicing gay.
Okay.
So
I thought these feelings were, kind of sort of natural and people have them, but they don't act on them. And
let me ask this, because whether you came out or not during high school, you were experimented with these girls. Did you undercoverly? I made that fucking word up. Did you on the undercover on the down low? On the down low, did you ever experiment with the opposite sex and not tell anybody?
The same sex.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Did I not say that?
It's the opposite sex.
Okay, well you know what I meant, Blake. You know what I meant.
I'm picking up what you're putting.
In high school.
In high school.
In high school.
Only high school.
So, okay. So let me see how I not tell my age.
You need to, stop thinking so much and just let's flow.
I used to talk to guys on like the online chat room.
You would talk to guys on online chat rooms.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet up with anybody?
But we never met up. Again, it's a small town, so none of these people were accessible.
Did you exchange on what? First of all, like what kind of computer was it? Did you exchange photos?
No.
Video?
No.
Because
Listen.
the computers didn't do that during that time, or?
Oh, I'm sure they did. But to give you a hint, this is like before nudes were so non-passe. Well, at least, like now nudes are just... This is before the Kim K sex tape. Was it? Negative.
I'm going to take that as a true note, but keep going.
Write that down.
Yeah, no, so no one was doing, or at least I wasn't thinking, I was just a 15-year-old boy.
This is a really, because you've already said you've been giving us the nitty gritty, and this is probably TMI for the audience, but when, I'm trying to think of the best words, when making yourself feel good, did you do that to the imagination of women or of men? During high school.
Primarily men. Yeah. So back to the Dorothy story. Remember I told you she was the last female that I had sex with. And I was 21. I will not tell you how many years ago that was, so don't ask. But she was the last female that I had sex with. And in our sexcapade, which we locked ourselves in a room for the whole weekend, all we did was sex. Every 30 minutes we were having sex. There came a time where in order for me to be an active participant, I had to fantasize about men while I was trying to be with a woman. Wow, and it was in that moment that I realized that, this is not going to work because it's unfair to me and it's unfair to her. However, she eventually cheated on me. Sidebar, little thing there. She eventually cheated on me, which is what actually led to our breakup. I don't know if I would still be with her today. But, yeah, but after her, I was like, yeah. And then there was a guy that came along in that thing. And so to circle back what you said about men, yes, I fantasized about men before. In high school, I never met up with a guy from the online chat room, but there was a guy that kind of sort of entered the fold.
Is that code for something?
We had an exchange
of
bodily fluids.
Oh, okay. I thought like numbers or something. Okay, TMI. Keep going.
You see my face like exchange or what?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, dot. What the?
Right. He was visiting my cousin. I think I was 16 at the time. He was visiting my cousin. She went to Southern University. He went to Southern University. He lived far away, so he drove down and was spending time for Thanksgiving. My cousin's the only child. She's a female. So my aunt thought, like, oh, you know what, Blake, you should come stay at the house. So there's another guy there with this guy. Unbeknownst to her, he was a little soft in the shoe. We slept in bed together, and things, went wayward. And of course, I fell in love because, I was 16 and this is my first experience. So I wrote him this long, pathetic love note, stuck it in his shoe, and so that with like my cell phone number, so he could call me when he got back to college, and of course he never did. And that was that. I know.
Was you like heartbroken over that?
I was for years, probably. And like even like years had passed, and I would still try to find him like on Facebook, things like that.
Let me ask you this, because we've talked so much about your high school years with the people in high school, but we also found out, I mean, it was a cliffhanger for Petra and I to find out that to this day, you have never told your mother. So considering your mother does not know to this day, unless she's watching episode 2 here or episode 1, she might know. How was that? I mean, trying to hide that and do that? And were you trying to fool her too, as well as your classmates to, kind of?
I honestly believe I was trying to fool myself, and that was the person I wanted to fool the most. I wanted to prove to myself, and then by proving to myself, I would also be able to prove to other people. But yeah, once I realized that I could not fool myself, and I stopped trying to fool myself, I became a happier version of myself. When I began to walk in my own destiny and march to the beat of my drum and say, you know what, screw what anybody else says about me, what anybody else thinks of me, like that is not my business. That is your burden to bear and not mine. And once I freed myself from those expectations, I really began to be truly happy. And so to your point, to bring it full circle, my mother doesn't know because she hasn't asked me. So at this particular point in my life, at this stage in my life, if she were to ask, I would tell.
But you said that you think it would hurt her. Do you would still tell her even though you...
Well, you didn't know how she would react.
Correct. But I would never come out to her and verbally say it voluntarily. But if she wanted to know...
That's your mama.
Well, so did you tell your mama you were straight? You don't come out as straight, so why do you have to come out as gay?
I guess you...
I think it's given, though. It's given, though, because whatever... They're not dumb. They see your lifestyle, so it's presumed. If you're dating girls all the time, it's presumed. Mm-hmm. So it's not something that one has to say, hey, I'm gay or I'm straight, but if it's unknown to her.
Are you waiting for your mom to ask?
I'm not waiting for her to ask. I do believe. I don't think she's that naive. I do believe she has what I call constructive knowledge. I don't lie to her. I don't change pronouns. I don't, I don't talk about who I'm dating with her. But if I did, I wouldn't change the pronouns. So I have not had a girlfriend. I haven't had a boyfriend for that matter in a very long time. We don't talk about sex. So it's not like, it's not one of those things, those conversations that I grew up having with my mom anyway. So it's not.
So now as you're at the age that you are now, your mother doesn't bring up, when you going to bring some grandbabies home?
When you going to bring the grandbabies? Well, I can still bring grandbabies home.
She gonna ask where the fuck they came from.
I was gonna say.
Ain't gonna be no mystery.
Word out my mouth.
I can celebrate. They really do not ask, and I think they don't ask because they don't necessarily want to know the real answer. But if
That
ever
makes
she asks,
everything.
if she comes up and asks me, I know that she has reconciled it in herself, and she is at peace with whatever the answer is gonna be. I'm not gonna lie to her, but I am not going to,
But
just
you're not
like,
gonna volunteer the information
yeah,
to your mouth.
yeah. But if she feels comfortable enough to ask me, then I am comfortable enough to share.
Now,
Now,
hold on,
but
because I
then
just want to know how you.
All of my sisters and brothers have kids.
do they know? All of them.
All of them, yeah, they all know now.
Let me ask
My
this.
baby sister, I just told her in April. I think I probably shared this in the first episode, but she was like, "Are you for real?"
But she didn't
oh,
know.
oh no. She was like, "So I'm surprised." Like she was like, "I told mom you were gay," and she was like, which one of my sons is gay?" And she was like, "Oh, okay, for real, mom, we're gonna play that game." She was like, "Okay, so Destin, yeah, that's the one that's gay," and that's my little brother who has like 3 kids. So she was like, "Yeah, so Destin's gay. Yeah, let's do that." Yeah, but so she was like, "Blake, I always knew you were gay. I mean, it's not like a surprise or a shocker."
Okay. Okay.
So my mother has, and so she has never heard it from my mouth. So my sister has told her, my little sister, before I told her that I was gay. My little sister said it before me and my little brother had a conversation, which was forced upon us by his girlfriend at the time. Sidebar. He had said something along those lines, and I don't know about my older sister, but a nice, fun little story. I had this nemesis when I was an undergrad, and he called my mother's home to tell her that I was living a double life, I was suicidal, and like all of these fabrications, and none of these things were true.
How
Well, I guess the double
how
life was
long
kind of
ago was
something.
this? When was this that this happened?
I was 20. I was probably 21, and we were in this love. He and I were in this love triangle with this boy, and so you know,
What end of the love triangle was salty?
yes. But he was the first of the, yeah. So I was probably like the side bitch, and didn't know I was the side bitch because I didn't know anything about being gay at the time, or dating or relationships, and this was my first relationship. And so I got caught up in some shit that I should not have ever even been in
Right.
hindsight. Um, but it was also, but I'm also thankful for that situation because that's the situation that made me realize that, oh yeah, one of those other situations that made me realize, oh yeah, you know what, I might be gay after all.
Let's segue into college because we've talked about everything leading up to like the prom king. What led you into college? Where did you go? What did you want to major in? The whole nine.
Okay. Yeah. So I always knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. That was, since the age of 5. I've always said, you know what, I'm going to be a lawyer. Um, my mother, I come from a single parent household for the most part. My mother did not have a college degree, but she had her high school diploma. She eventually was laid off from her job and she went and got like a certificate at the local trade school. However, I saw the struggle that my mother endured trying to care for 4 kids by herself. And I always thought to myself, like, wow, that's a very, very strong woman. I don't know if I'm that strong to be able to make it without a college degree. I need to take my black ass to college and at least make myself marketable so I can have some options. And so it was her struggle and her strength that inspired me to like pursue higher education. So I went to Louisiana State University for undergrad, and I got a bachelor's in information systems and decision sciences with a concentration in internal auditing.
Nope. Nope.
Okay, yep, nope.
Nope. Mm-mm.
I just listen. I opened up the book again. I knew I was going to law school, and so I treated um, I treated undergrad as if it was high school. It was just the means to an end. I just to hurry up, get into something, and get a degree and get out. But I didn't want to do pre-law because they, well, you know what? If that law thing doesn't work, I'm gonna need a fallback.
Yeah.
And so, information systems is basically a soft computer science. So I was like, oh, I'll always be able to do something with that. And then LSU was #1 international for internal auditing. So I was like, oh, well, why not get that? Check, check, and check. Something will pan out. So I did that. Loved the big city feel of Baton Rouge. Now I'm like outside of St. Martinville, my little small town, and people I are be because of the way I present, people were assuming and treating me as if I was gay. So it was in this time frame, in this 4 year time, or it's actually 3 years, in these 3 years that I would start to actually get like actively hit on by men. And it would, because of my naivete, it would go over my head most of the time. And I would never see it coming. This fun story is I was walking to um, what is it called? The where you eat. the cap- yeah, I was walking to the cafeteria, and this black guy, LSU was predominantly white. It was 33,000 students there. 33,000 students. That's more than my hometown by like threefold. So 33,000 students, and 3,000 were black. So when you saw another black face on campus, you were like, oh, it's a kindred spirit. You know, we got to link up. So this black man is saying A from across the way, but A sounds very much like Blake. So I'm like, who is this calling my name? So I turn around and I go and greet the man. And he's probably 6'5", 260 pounds, with these mystical plaits out of his head. And so I'm like, well, this is interesting. Don't seem like you belong here. But okay. So, you know, he calls me over and he's like, so where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm headed to the cafeteria. He's like, oh, did you go to school here? I was like, yeah. He's like, where do you live? And I'm like, oh, I live in the dorm that's over there. He's like, oh, cool, cool, cool. They got some, what do you like to do for fun? And so what do you like to do or something? I was like, you know, I like to read books, play on the computer, things like that. So he was like, oh, okay. In those dorms you stay in, they got some gay people? And I was like, oh, I'm sure they do. So he was like, yeah, I just got out of jail. I did 7 years. I'm trying to get my dick sucked. Oh, excuse me. And you stopped me for that? Wait, hold on. Time out. Oh, and mind you, again, I described the guy as like 6'5", 275. I am 5'8", 150. So I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, so this is about the time where I need to make a run for it because this might not end well for me. And this is before, you know, my experience. Although even had it not been before that experience, I probably would have entertained it. But at least I would have been a little more open to it. It wouldn't have been so jarring.
Listen.
Oh, so I darted off and went to the cafeteria, mind my damn business, and cried in my mashed potatoes.
Cry?
Probably didn't cry, but I got probably emotional because this was one of those experiences when I was like, oh, you know, that's not how I identify. Why does he do that? Da, da, da. And so, you know, it just made me like reflect on my own personal self. So it brought up some emotions that I probably was, you know, kind of sort of trying to
already deal with. Yeah, already dealing. Where did you meet Dorothy at? Because you said that Dorothy.
Dorothy, yes. So Dorothy and I are from St. Martinville together. So, okay. Yeah, so Dorothy's brother and my sister, my older sister, they dated from high school on up. So they have a kid together. My niece almost got me again. So my niece, they have a kid. I'm not telling you, baby.
Why you keep telling me all your niece?
I actually don't know. Oh wait, you know what? When was she born? Oh, I don't know. But she's born in November. Late November. I think November 27th.
So you don't know how old your niece is? Is she an infant? Is she a toddler? Is she in middle school?
No.
She grown?
She's not grown-ish.
So is she a teenager?
She's something like that. She's somewhere around a teenager. Yeah, I think she's in that ballpark. Anywho, so
okay, Dorothy so you met Dorothy from your hometown.
Yeah, so I knew her from high school. My sister and her brother around that time. Well, I think they already had a baby. Yes, so I'm the baby's uncle, and she's the baby's aunt.
Okay.
But we had dated before, like in like junior high, but it wasn't anything serious. Like past.
Okay, so how long did you and Dorothy date?
Probably 3 months. So here's a fun. Oh, I don't want to tell her business. Well, Dorothy don't watch. I'm sorry, but it's the truth anyway. So The reason we broke up is because, like I said, she cheated on me. How did I know she cheated on me? Because another guy claimed to have had sex with her. And of course, I thought, oh, well, he's lying. And he had proof that only somebody who was having sex with her would know.
So something on her body or something like that that he knew about.
She was loud.
Oh.
She was very vocal. You weren't ready for that, huh, Paige? She was loud and vocal. Now here I am.
We talking about a birthmark or something like
I'm over here thinking I'm King Dingaling and I'm special.
No, sir, you're not.
Not at all. Had nothing to do with me. Oh, okay.
So, you break up with Dorothy.
Break up with Dorothy.
And what year? Junior year in college?
Oh, no. This is like sophomore. Because I was in the living apartment. So, sophomore year, break up with Dorothy.
Okay.
There was...
Break up with Dorothy. And then, now you're coming to conclusion like, hey... Oh, wait a minute. Were you still going to church?
Yes.
Okay.
I was a lecturer at the Catholic Church on campus.
Oh, okay.
Around this time, I was probably transitioning from Catholic to Seventh-day Adventist, which Mikey doesn't know. And then...
Like, you hear that?
No, I didn't, but I intend to be watching all the footage back, so it don't matter.
Okay, and so... but
so
you're still in the thoughts of what your sexuality may be or may not
I'm still masturbating to men. I'm still getting aroused by men. And so I know it's there. But the opportunity never really presented itself until that love triangle.
Okay,
so,
where'd you meet the head of the love triangle?
Same 21-year-old me. I used to work at call centers in college. I'm sure, very many people did. So I used to work at all these call centers, and the guys, the couple, worked at the call center together, and there was, they were a couple. They would pick on me for no reason at all, and I was like, oh, that's so weird. And eventually, I left that call center, went to another call center, started working for AT&T. I laugh because I almost dated myself. Started working at AT&T, and they eventually started working there. And somewhere along those lines, they broke up. At least that's what was told to me. But they had been together 4 years prior to this. The boy's name, his name is Tony. Tony had a cousin named Keetra, female. Keetra and I were really great friends. And one day, I went over, they also were roommates. I went over to her house, but she wasn't there, and he was. And he kissed me. And prior to this, I don't know if I ever kissed a man before. Mind y'all business.
You don't think you have?
I don't think I kissed a man, but earlier I did express exchange of bodily fluids with one.
I know.
So, but I think this might have been the first time that a man kissed me, and then, I pushed him away because I was like, oh, wait, you got the wrong idea here, buddy. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I might as well just give it a go and just kiss him back. And I kissed him back, and it was ba-da. And so he and I started dating. And one evening, what I thought was his ex-lover, but maybe was his current lover, his other lover, popped up into the room and was just screaming at the top of his lungs. I think he and I broke up at that time, but it ended up being this on-again, off-again love triangle for probably 4 years.
And this was throughout the entire college?
This was throughout college and some of law school.
Okay. So it started what year in college?
Had to be my junior year. But so I was only in college for 3.5 years. I graduated early. So I graduated in December.
You're that smart that you graduated in 3.5 years?
Because that's what I was leading up to when I said I treated undergrad as if it was high school. It was just a means to an end. I was only doing that because you had to do that to get to law school. So I needed to hurry up and get out of there because I didn't want to be there. I wanted to hurry up. I was rushing to get to law school. So yeah, so I did it in 3.5 years. I didn't take any summers off. I took the max credits, and I wanted to get out. So
law school is how long? It's 3 years?
3, yeah.
Okay.
So you graduate from college, still with on again, off again with Tony.
Got
you
your
got a
ass.
class?
Not top, but I did. I mean, it was above a 3.0.
Okay. So, and then what?
I don't know. I
school
don't remember
did
my
you apply
GPA
to?
was, but it was decent. It probably was like a 3.5.
What law school did you apply to and get into?
Oh baby, I applied to 11. I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. So I applied to 11. My top 4 were Rutgers, San Francisco, Colorado. Howard.
Okay.
Yes.
Which ones did you get an offer for?
Oh no, I told you I applied to 11. Howard. So you're always supposed to. So I created this full out Excel spreadsheet with my LSAT scores, their acceptance rates, their employment rates, their GPA acceptance rate, da 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 da. So I should have gotten into all 4 of these schools, and then Howard, like I was like, oh, I'll definitely get in there based on my stats. Didn't get into any of them, but God, He had a plan for me. So when you are registering for law school, you have to like register with that database called LSAC. I think it's like law school admissions, something, I don't know what the C stands for. But anywho, so all you have to do is when you're applying for law school, you put all of your general information in there, name, address, da 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 da, all that information in there, and it auto populates on all the other applications. So it makes applying for multiple schools pretty easy, and then you just you populate the other stuff that's specific to that school. 7 of them had a free application. 7. That's how I got to the number 11. So I applied to my top 4. 7 said, "Oh, you don't even need to pay for a fee," and it was just a simple click submit. So I applied for 7 more. So I was like, "Oh, this is easy." All of those schools I should have also got accepted in. Only got accepted into 1, which was Thomas Cooley in Michigan. So I went to Thomas M. Cooley Law School in Lansing, Michigan. Let me say that I did get waitlisted for University of San Francisco, which was one of my top. But I had received so many denials. Like every time I would go to the mailbox, it was like another, "Oh, you are not accepted. You are not accepted." And again, this is my life's dream. This is something that I've only wanted to be. Like, so this non-acceptance is not working for me. So eventually I get an acceptance from Cooley. Had never been to Michigan before. I had never been to Michigan before. I've never seen snow. Only on TV. I said, "Oh, you want me? Here I go." So I sent that little, it was like a $500 deposit, sent that deposit, didn't think nothing of it. Get to Cooley. Baby, it had snowed. And it didn't look like it did on the TV. Baby, you couldn't drive in it, and why was it black? What happened to that white Christmas stuff?
Poor child. Poor child.
Like, it was like, one time it was like negative 18 degrees.
I'm going to tell you that when I went to California and to pursue my dream in Hollywood, I've always thought Hollywood to be glam and glitter. And it was dirty and nasty. I'm like, what the fuck? Am I still in Detroit? Like the bad parts of Detroit? Like what the? This is not Hollywood.
This is not the snow off the TV, baby.
It's very misleading.
Looks can be deceiving.
I threw like a temper tantrum like a child one day. I got snowed in the library and could not get out. I threw a little temper tantrum like a 5-year-old and said, "Oh, this is it. I am taking my black ass back to Louisiana," because let me circle back just a little bit. I could have gone back to I could have gone to law school in Louisiana, but Louisiana is a different judicial system. So they follow the Napoleonic Code, which is some archaic code. And if you go to law school there, then you typically kind of sort of want to practice in Louisiana. I had a scholarship to go to LSU for undergrad. And the way my scholarship was set up, if you don't use all of it, you can use it for your for your next degree. However, because of that love triangle, I was like, oh, I'm not staying here. I have to get my ass up out of here.
Right.
So I forfeited the rest of my scholarship. I wonder if I could go back to school. Maybe look, let me double that. I forfeited the rest of the scholarship so that I could go and incur $300,000 worth of debt at Thomas and Cooley.
I'm sorry, did you say
stay there for
300,000?
Yes. I stayed there till the end.
So,
And it was hell.
because we're running low on time. So to wrap things up here, I just want to get a timeline on things. So you went to high school, you did high school and everything. You didn't take any breaks. You from high school you went straight to college. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, from high school you went to college straight there. You did
I graduated in May. I started college in June.
You did 3.5 years there, not 4. You finished up there. You didn't take any breaks. You went straight to law school. Law school is 3 years, and that's kind of where we're at now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then when we get back, we are definitely going to see what was that next chapter inside of the story of Blake. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Kids, you probably don't want to, well, I guess it's too late now because you've already gotten the juicy details of some stuff that your mother and father probably have not talked to you about yet with the birds and the bees and all of those fluids that Blake was talking about. Blake, yep, don't act surprised, motherfucker. It was you. It was you that did all the fluiding.
And somebody was doing this. I saw somebody doing stuff like that.
Hey, I did it once. Apparently you with Dolores did it like 98 times. So that's all I'm saying. Thank you for being here. Petra, as always, you know, when we end stories with him, we're always like blown away. We're like, what?
You never know what you're going to get.
Life is like a box of chocolate.
Right.
Well, there it is. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell, do all that jazz. Check us out next week if you're interested in being a guest on the story of. Please let us know and we'll get you in there. As always, like I said, it's a pleasure for everyone tuning in, and we will see you guys all next week.